Hi, everyone, and welcome to another awe-inspiring episode of ThoughtLeadership.biz. I'm Chris Machut, and today we're talking about a common misconception, one that has the potential to bury business and end entrepreneurial adventures before they've even begun. We've all heard the saying, cash is king, and it makes sense when we're talking about business, right? After all, trying to run a successful business without having the capital to support it means we're acting like the little piggy who tried to build his house on sand. Sooner or later, it'll get washed away, and you'll be left with nothing apart from huge debts, potential lawsuits, and possible bankruptcy. Anyone who's seriously considering starting their own company knows that, right? But the truth is, the entrepreneurial coin is two-sided, and truly successful business leaders, guys who have built their businesses from the ground up and kept them growing long term, can see both sides of the coin. Whether you're just starting out or a seasoned entrepreneur with more fingers in the professional pies than a platoon of pastry-loving little piggies, the same golden rule applies. Cash ain't always king. There's a good reason why, too. But before we get into it, let me remind you to check out all of my newest articles, podcasts at ThoughtLeadership.biz, the website. Catch me in person on YouTube or listen via Spotify and Anchor.fm. You can also enjoy my tones on Apple and Google Podcasts, subscribe to my rants on Twitter, and connect with me on LinkedIn. Right then, so what's the deal? Well, it's pretty simple. The fact of the matter is that cash is crucial for obvious reasons, but cash flow is king. Because if cash ain't flowing, there's only one direction your business is going, and it's downhill fast. It's a lesson that many business owners learn the hard way. So my advice is don't be one of them. In the simplest terms, it doesn't matter how much cash is teed up and ready to roll in the future, because if you don't have access to funds you need today, tomorrow won't happen. At least not in the way you want it to. Instead of champagne lunches, magazine interviews, and a jet-set lifestyle, it'll be cold pasta, online job searches, and carpooling with more fortunate friends. Because the world won't wait for you to catch up. Slowly but surely, the nice little life you've built for yourself will unravel, the security you had will slip away, the walls will start closing in, and the sharks will start swimming. Your landlord won't wait for your rent again, despite your assurances that you're about to land one of the biggest fishes in your financial history. Your suppliers won't extend you any more credit as a favor or a gesture of goodwill to be paid back in the future. And your employees won't wait to be paid. Period. So the bottom line is cash flow, not cash, is really king. Now you might be wondering why the idea that cash is king is such a popular one that mesmerizes so many budding business leaders before burying them in stress and debt. Well, it's plain and simple really. Cash is powerful. It makes you feel rich. It makes you feel that anything is possible. It makes you feel secure, and that's the problem. The reality is that regardless of the quantity, cash or capital is a finite commodity, and if you keep spending, it keeps shrinking until there's nothing left. Now you could say, well, yeah, but I need to spend the cash to make more cash in the future. And that's true. But unless you spend that money properly, sooner or later, you'll be swimming with the sharks. Because the money that's coming down the pipeline in the future is only theoretical. It's potential, a possibility, an opportunity. But no matter how certain you are, cash-making potentials, possibilities, or opportunities in the future are simply not the same as cold, hard cash in hand. There are simply no guarantees of what's possible or even highly probable in the future will actually materialize. That means that unless you got the required amount of cash coming in on a regular basis, you haven't really got anything at all. Let's take the example of a new startup that on the surface looks successful, in fact, completely worthless. Let's say company ABC raises millions of dollars through its investors, but doesn't actually have any cash flow. Sure, they've got a cartel-sized container of cash in the company cupboard, and their bank balance looks very healthy indeed. Until they start making something, they're essentially worthless, right? They might be snapped up and acquired for billions of dollars without actually ever being cash flow positive. It doesn't happen. But unless they begin to generate their income sooner rather than later, they'll go bust and their names to an ever-growing list of pseudo-business leaders that have mistakenly taken huge capital and thought it was a great success. So why do many business owners fall into the same trap and only look at one side of the coin? Why do they focus on creating profit rather than cultivating conditions needed to ensure long-term cash flow? Well, there's three main reasons. First, they're too positive and have unrealistic expectations about the income versus expenses. Whether this mindset is born out of ignorance or arrogance or unconsciously blended cocktail of both, the fact remains that if you don't balance this equation properly, you soon find yourself mounted in debt. Which leads us to the second reason. Business leaders often assume that loads of cash means long-term security, only to find out that the hard way is an illusion. By overestimating how far their current funds will stretch, they quickly run out of cash and they start panicking. Before they know it, they're on the phone with friends and lenders, and some might help to bail them out of the water in a sinking ship or help to keep afloat a little longer by driving them into an insurmountable debt, but that can't go on forever. Sooner or later, the ship sinks, and you go down with it. The final reason is that rookie business leaders often don't budget well enough for nasty surprises, and they all happen. Contingency planning can be the last thing on your mind when you're busy scraping together all the funds you can just to keep the wheels from falling off during the early stages of an enterprise. But that's a big mistake. All it takes is one nasty little surprise to wreck your business plan and demolish your entrepreneurial dreams. So be prepared. There's a very good reason why happens. Bumper sticker sold so well so many times. Right then, there you have it. 3 ways to avoid cash flow crisis and make sure you aren't swimming with the sharks this time next year. The main takeaway, cash is crucial, but cash flow is king. Probably a bit long for a bumper sticker, I know, but certainly worth remembering. This is Chris Machut. See you next time, and stay safe out there. Thank you again for listening to this ThoughtLeadership.biz podcast. I'm Chris Machut. For additional information on this podcast, including additional sites where you can stream from, make sure to visit us online at www.thoughtleadership.biz in your favorite web browser. I wish you a safe and productive day.